Right before my grandfather died he wanted to see me one last time, but my teacher stopped me from going home because of an exam. By the time the test was over, I didn't make it to my grandfather before he took his last breath. Standing by his hospital bed I looked at the grandpa who raised me since I was little, now lying there cold and lifeless. I couldn't hold back my tears anymore, they just spilled out. Then I pulled the white sheet over him with my own hands. But when I went back to school still heartbroken, my homeroom teacher walked in with the practice test papers and announced to everyone, some people just don't care about the group's success. They're selfish, dragging down the class average. What good would going have done anyway? Was he going to come back to life? Hurting the living for someone who's already gone. It's just shameful. The teacher's words cut deep like a sharp knife, straight into my heart. I just lowered my head and stayed quiet. The second the teacher stepped out the door, I shoved my desk back and stood up. What if it was your family who died, teacher? Xiao Qinyang, is that how you talk to a teacher? Get to the office and stand there. You're done for the day. Not like it would make a difference anyway. Back in the teacher's office, homeroom teacher Lu Rufei was casually sipping his tea. Soon other teachers came back from class. What's up with this kid Lu? He just doesn't get it. Said something he didn't like. So he stood up and cursed me out. If the kid is trouble, just have his folks take him home. Nobody at home to deal with him. In the end it all falls on us anyway. Lucky us listening to them joke around. I dug my nails into my palm and didn't even feel it. My eyes locked onto a photo frame on the desk. Then suddenly something hit the back of my head. Hey kid, apologize to your teacher already. Your teacher works so hard worrying about you guys every day. No, don't bother, I can't accept that. Lu Rufei looked at me with a mocking grin, and I took a deep breath. When I looked up my eyes were full of tears. I'm sorry teacher. I know I was wrong, everything you said. I remember it all. Please don't be mad at me. I'm old enough. You think I'd hold a grudge against a kid? I'm just teaching you what your family should you know. Now go copy the text 5 times. Have it for me after school. Are you even trying? How many times do I have to explain this problem in class? Good thing you're not my kid. I'd be slapping some sense into you. Lu Rufei was on a rampage again. He kept saying my kid this, my kid that. Everyone knew we were in middle school. His son was in elementary and always at the top of his class. Whenever we messed up a test, he would compare us to his own son, saying his kid was already learning our 9th grade material while we couldn't even handle 8th grade. We might as well go bang our heads against a wall. At that moment no student dared to meet his eyes. But me, the quiet kid, I kept my head up staring right at him. He acted like it was a personal challenge, jumped up and pointed at me. Look, what are you looking at? Do I have answers written on my face? Stand up and pay attention. Right then, commotion erupted outside the window. Who said you could look outside? None of your business. Suddenly teacher Im burst through the door. Teacher Lu. Oh no, it's Tong Tong. He fell from the building. Tong Tong was the name of the teacher's son. When Lu Rufei heard this, he staggered. You need to go now. The kid is barely holding on. Tong Tong. He screamed hysterically and ran for the door. But I was quicker. Slammed the door shut and stood right in front of it, blocking him. Teacher, I don't get this problem. Can you explain it? Get out of my way. Lu Rufei completely lost it, grabbing at me to get past. Another teacher yelled at the kid too. Can't you see the timing? Move it, but I stood firm, tilting my head. What timing? My teacher taught me. School comes first above everything. And going there won't bring anyone back to life, right? What's the difference whether he goes or not? Lu Rufei just stared at me blankly. If he still couldn't see that I was getting back at him, then he was beyond dense. Get out of my way, you little monster. If something happens to my son, I swear I will make you pay. He lunged at me, tearing at my clothes. I didn't move. Let him thrash, holding onto the door frame for dear life. Even when he scratched my face or landed a few kicks I wouldn't let go. Then the ambulance sirens started blaring one after another. I suddenly stepped aside. Lu Rufei didn't even stop to fight. He yanked the door open and ran downstairs. My classmates stared at me like I was a ghost. As I calmly walked to the window and looked down, I saw Lu Rufei hunched over a stretcher covered with a white sheet, wailing uncontrollably, and I felt a twisted sense of satisfaction. As they carried the stretcher away, he seemed to sense